Hey guys, we're up to example 3 of 6.4, so let's get going. We gotta look at coordinate conversion equations, and basically we're trying to relate the xy with the r and the theta. Now you guys have been working with right triangles ever since the unit circle. Remember, the unit circle had a hypotenuse of a length 1, which made x cosine and y sine of theta. Now, once we got to vectors and parametrics, all of a sudden this thing became a magnitude, a velocity. But remember, in the unit circle, the hypotenuse was 1. But once we went bigger than 1, then all of a sudden, what originally was x is equal to cosine theta, let's get that, x is equal to cosine theta, we had to multiply it by however bigger the hypotenuse got, right? So if the hypotenuse was 2, if the magnitude was 2, if in this case, the radius is 2, then this is no longer just cosine. It's 2 cosine theta, and this was no longer just y. It was 2 sine theta, right? So that's the relationship. It's the same exact math, but instead of saying r, we say magnitude for vectors and velocity for a physics problem or whatever the case may be. R squared equals x squared plus y squared, that's just your Pythagorean theorem, and obviously your tangent ratios still hold true because this is the adjacent and that's the opposite. So let's just apply that. If we were to look at example A, then we've got a directed angle of 5 pi over 6, which is this way. And we're 3 units away from the pole, so that's right over here. If I want to look at it as an x and y, I can simply imagine that right triangle there. And I basically need to figure out the length of this and the length of that. That's your x and that's your y, right? And it's pretty straightforward because all we have to do is say x is equal to r cosine of theta. Well, in this case, our r is 3 because we're 3 units away from the pole. So x is equal to 3 cosine, and the angle's given to us. It's 5 pi over 6. And then my y is r sine of theta. And in this case, it would be 3 sine of 5 pi over 6. And if we want to write it as a xy coordinate, then we just need to say that, well, x is 3 cosine 5 pi over 6. Well, 5 pi over 6 is root 3 over 2 because it's over 6. And so it'd be 3 times root 3 over 2. But also, we're in quadrant 2. So because we're in quadrant 2, cosine, right? It's all star trig class or applesauce turkey chicken. So cosine is negative there. We can also confirm that, hey, look, that's going to the left side of the x-axis, so it should be negative. And similarly, we do the same, 5 pi over 6, and that's going to be 1/2, right? That's going to be 3 over 2 because it's 3 times half. And in that case, our coordinate would be -3 root 3 over 2, comma, 3 over 2. And that's part A.